Something feels different this year about Halloween Horror Nights. It's not just the scares, the gore, or the iconic houses. There's a shift happening. New surprises, unexpected twists, and rumors that could change everything we knew about this year's event. But what's really going on? What's coming next? And what's just fan speculation? Welcome back to Eddytained. My name's Eddie, and today we're taking a deep dive into everything we know and don't know about Halloween Horror Nights this year. We're breaking down all of the announcements, the wild speculation, and what might just be lurking around the corner. Stick around because by the end of this video, you're going to be caught up with everything coming Halloween Horror Nights 2025, and maybe even a little bit more. So what is different this year? There's a lot of things going on. We're going to be breaking down all the speculation and theories that are out there, talk about the big picture and some of the hints that they've been giving us. But let's start all off with the confirmed announcements that already have all the fans buzzing. All right, now that we've got you hooked, let's jump in to everything that's been confirmed and do a brief overview of all the houses that have been announced. We have a nice mixture of original properties as well as the iconic intellectual properties to discuss. So far, we have a good mixture and some things that have yet to be announced, but let's go over everything that we know so far. First up, we've got El Artista, a Spanish haunting. Step into the 19th century Spain where an artist's obsession with the supernatural comes to life. Expect a chilling atmosphere with art that feels like it might jump out and grab you. Next is Hatchet and Chains, Demon Bounty Hunter. It's set in an old west town under siege by lava demons. Picture intense battles and creatures straight out of nightmare fuel. Think Western meets hellish horror. Then we've got Gaukin, Monsters of the North. This house is going to plunge us into a snowy, haunted landscape where an ancient evil is rising, bringing monstrous creatures with it. Expect big scares in a chilling environment. Up next is Grave of the Flesh. Guests will venture into the underworld, but here's the catch. You're being hunted by flesh-eating monsters. It's going to be all about grotesque creatures and deadly chases. And finally, we have Dolls, Let's Play Dead. In this house, you'll be shrunk down to doll size and haunted by sinister, twisted toys. Think creepy and claustrophobic with some major childhood nightmares brought to life. Moving on to the IPs, first up, Jason Universe. This one is a terrifying collaboration of all things Friday the 13th. So get ready to face off with the infamous Jason Voorhees in a haunted house experience filled with slasher-fueled chaos. Next, we have Fallout. Step into a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles straight out of the hit video game series. Expect to see remnants of civilization, but watch your back. Mutants and raiders are never far behind. And of course, we can't forget Five Nights at Freddy's. The animatronics are coming for you. This iconic franchise is bringing its creepy haunted restaurant to life. Get ready for jump scares and sinister robots lurking around every corner. And as far as Five Nights at Freddy's, I know by this time, some of you may have already seen the official announcement, who knows? But if you're watching this fresh today, then you know that it's been announced, officially announced, but no announcement. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen Halloween Horror Nights do in Universal is a non-announcement announcement. They told us Five Nights at Freddy is coming in some way or form, but they haven't confirmed what. I think what ended up happening was the creator of Five Nights at Freddy accidentally said at a convention that Five Nights at Freddy is coming to Halloween Horror Nights, but Universal wasn't ready for it. But in a attempt to seem cohesive, they did a announcement, a kind of half, announcement, and released the information and just hinted at what potentially we may be getting, which is a house is probably what we're going to be getting. And if we don't, I'd be severely surprised, but it did kind of hint at we're getting it in a different way. So maybe it's going to be a house and a scare zone, a house and a bar, who knows? Now let's get into my personal thoughts. I'm definitely excited for a few of these announcements, and of course I have my personal favorites. That being said, when it comes to the originals, it's kind of hard to anticipate what's coming to the originals. We have the intellectual property houses where we have some fundamentals of what the story's like. We know the characters, we know the storylines, we know what scenic design may be, so there's good anticipation that we could have before ever seeing it. But for the original properties, outside of being a little bit creative, we really don't know what may be coming to the event. We could think one thing and then arrive and see another. It's like opening up a mystery box or anticipating what's in a mystery box before ever opening it up. You know what I'm saying? But we try to make the most of it. And, that being said, I'm really looking forward to the Jason Universe house. That sounds like something, an old head like myself is going to enjoy greatly. Nostalgia. Jason is an all-time icon of horror slasher films. So I'm looking forward to that. That's probably going to be my number one house for this year as far as intellectual properties go, in anticipation. Obviously, after the event has been had, we may change our opinion. We may find that one of the original properties ends up being our favorite. And that takes us back to the fact that we don't know what we're anticipating for the original properties. But year over year, although it's hard to speculate and get hyped up for original properties, once I go, typically the original properties end up being the ones that have the most iconic scenic design, storylines, and just overall gore and horror. So, no knock at the original properties. It's just hard to get hyped up for them in advance without really knowing anything, except for, like I said, being creative and using a little bit of imagination. Now let's jump into some of the more exciting speculation and theories. While we don't have any confirmation of these, some of these ideas are looking more and more likely. One of the biggest speculations is a Wyatt 6 house. If you're a WWE fan, you know that Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt 6 faction have been a major talking point. This house would blend an intellectual property with original storyline, creating something that feels fresh, but still rooted in a world we know. It's something that's been speculated for years, and while I'm not personally super excited for it, it's definitely something that fans are eagerly anticipating. If it happens, I think it's going to play with both sides, making it a unique experience. Another one that's been floating around is Art the Clown from the Terrifier. This one's got a lot of people talking. Originally, many thought it would be the first announcement of the year. Also, last week on Wednesday, people thought that it would be coming. No mention of it was made. Still, the buzz hasn't died down, and many are still speculating that Terrifier will be making its way to Halloween Horror Nights this year. While it's not confirmed, the anticipation for this one is pretty high. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it feels if it happened, it could be a seriously twisted experience. On top of that, there's another rumor circulating that this year could bring us fewer scare zones, or possibly a whole new approach at them. This goes back to us talking about, this year feeling different. Now, scare zones aren't typically what draw huge crowds, but they are a crucial part of the atmosphere at Halloween Horror Nights. They're what entertains you while you're navigating between houses, and they really help set the tone. So if fewer scare zones are introduced, it could change the dynamic of how you experience the event. But if Universal is focusing on making the existing zones more immersive and high quality, that could end up being a huge win. So that's what we're hearing so far. Some major speculation with the Wyatt 6 WWE house potentially coming this year, as well as the Terrifier, and the potential change to how they approach scare zones. That would be major. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that up till I experience it, or it's obviously made official. All of these things are unconfirmed and just highly anticipated. I know the Terrifier and the Wyatt 6 people swear that those are coming. I have no inside source to confirm that, but if it ends up coming, it'll be interesting to check those houses out. Once again, that WWE house will be like a blend of an original house as well as an intellectual property, because the WWE doesn't have the storylines to back a haunted house, but some of these fighters like the Wyatt 6 and that group they have an ambiance of horror to them, which they could then play off of. So it'll be interesting to see how everything comes together. I'm excited. You know, the event this year is a little bit interesting, but I'm still excited. There's a lot to look forward to. So what does this all mean for the future of Halloween Horror Nights? Is it changing for the better? And, you know, when I take a step back and I actually take a look at everything, is it changing? Yes. For the better? I don't know. It's kind of hard to anticipate that. You know, when I go to the event, like I've said, I do always have a good time, but there used to be this like long, drawn out anticipation that you would have for Halloween Horror Nights every year with the speculation season, but that has all but disappeared. Now it's all within a concise few months, and it's all dumped on you within a short amount of time. They used to draw that out for what sometimes felt like an eternity. Speculation season felt so long, but it helped build that anticipation for the year's coming event. And now that's all but gone. And, you know, it all starts to make a little bit more sense when you start to take into consideration that Epic Universe just recently opened up. I'm sure there is a huge push to get people over to that park. That being said, I did expect the opening of Epic Universe to have a different impact on Halloween Horror Nights. The parks, or the company's largest event, which is Halloween Horror Nights, this year will be meeting its newest and biggest shiny toy, which is Epic Universe. And they have been pushing to make Universal Orlando Resort into a multi-day type of experience, like a Disney. So you would think, you know, drawing the bridge from Epic to Universal Studios and Halloween Horror Nights would make sense. And how would you do that? By building up the anticipation for Halloween Horror Nights. But instead, it seems like they're just trying to give you the quick wow factor with announcing everything shortly before Halloween Horror Nights actually starts, and then deliver the experience to you while you're there. But who's to say that the experience is going to be great this year? You know, without that emphasis on the announcement season, how do I know that you guys are putting in the time to make sure that this year's event is amazing? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's something that has been on my mind for the past like 3 to 4 years. But don't get me wrong, I still end up going. I'm still super excited for Halloween Horror Nights, and there's something to be said about, you know, the amazing houses that Halloween Horror Nights delivers year over year. Going through those houses is an experience in itself, and, you know, I'm not taking anything away from that. It's just a change that has been going on and happening slowly throughout the years, and it seems more drastic and drastic year over year. So whether it's a shift of how they handle announcement season, the growing presence of Epic Universe, or exciting announcements still to come, Halloween Horror Nights is clearly evolving in ways we didn't expect. But one thing's for sure, whether the anticipation feels different or not, the event is still going to be an unforgettable experience. There's so much to look forward to, and even with all the changes, I can't wait to see how the event unfolds. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today as we did a dive deep into everything coming into Halloween Horror Nights this year, 2025. I can't wait for the event to be right here. It's 2 months out. We'll be in the fog soon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with any future updates as we get closer to the event. We'll keep you posted on everything that's happening and give you guys some insight. We will see you guys on the next video. But up till then, don't forget to ask yourself, have you been edutained?